Welcome back to the WaxMode detailing channel, guys, and in today's video I'm going to be doing the first wash with the new Ethos Graphene Matrix Coating. It's been one full week since I applied 2 coats of this coating to the entire rear section of this blue test Honda, and so this is what I'm going to be using to keep track of the coating's durability, the hydrophobic durability over time, but I want to get this short-term water behavior results so that I can see how the coating's performing at its maximum level. And I also want to see if there's any weaker areas, maybe some spots that I might have missed while applying the coating. So I'm going to do a pre-rinse, and then I'm going to pull out CarPro Reset, wash the entire rear section down, and then rinse afterwards so that we can see how it's holding up. Now my prep before applying this coating, I used 3D1, their hybrid compound and polish, and I followed that up with Sonax's Perfect Finish. Then I sprayed the entire section down with Odorless mineral spirits from Klean Strip. And then I use the Ethos Detox as my panel wipe, and that's going to help clean up any of the polishing oils and polish residue that might have been left behind from the polishing process. But prior to polishing the paint out, I did perform a thorough decontamination. You want to make sure you remove all of the embedded contaminants before pulling out the polisher, before working with abrasives. And so I used IronX, and then I followed up with the Nanoskin Autoscrub Sponge to basically clay the paint, remove all of that embedded contamination, and then I pulled out the polisher with the abrasives. Now, I was able to pull the rear end of the car into the garage a little bit to apply the coating in the shade. The surface temperature was still around 90 degrees Fahrenheit and definitely super humid out here in Central Florida, and I had no issues working with the coating. Alright, so I've done a quick wash using CarPro Reset as my soap. I'm going to rinse the soap off so that we can see how the coating has really held up. And this car has remained ungaraged during this entire week. It's been daily driven. We've been getting pummeled by rain pretty much every single day since applying the coating to the paint as well. I've also got it applied to the upper glass section above the Honda badge right here. So I want to see how it plays with glass and definitely see how it holds up over time. So 2 coats on the glass, 2 coats on all the rest of the painted sections. I have not coated the taillights, so I might use a different product to coat the taillights. But you can see after washing off the grime that is built up after this first week, a lot of grime builds up when you're driving the car in the rain. Once we wash off that grime, look at the absolutely phenomenal hydrophobic performance that this coating delivers in the short term. This just looks absolutely phenomenal. And not all coatings out there are going to behave the same exact way with water. You can have less hydrophobic coatings that can still be, high performing and very durable. But then you can have some coatings like this Graphene Matrix and CarPro C-Quartz UK 3.0 that can be awesomely hydrophobic like this. And, hydrophobicity is not the be-all, end-all traits of coating performance. But I've worked with enough coatings myself that I really want to see a very high level of hydrophobic performance during my routine washes. And so that's just a personal preference of mine. But one of the biggest things that I've noticed when working with the Graphene Matrix coating from Ethos so far is this is able to balance a very good level of ease of use with good slickness, better slickness than a lot of other coatings that I've worked with, while being able to showcase this crazy level of hydrophobic performance when fresh. But none of that's really going to matter unless this coating is able to hold up in the long term on the daily driver like this, exposed to the elements, the crazy amount of rain that we get, the high heat, high humidity here in Florida, and the very high sun exposure, UV exposure. And I'm looking forward to keeping you guys posted, giving you guys video updates for how the coating is holding up in this durability test. And I'm going to keep it bare. I'm not going to be topping this coating up with anything early on. I'm going to wait. I'm going to see how the coating degrades over time and then make the judgment call of whether or not I want to start testing different sorts of toppers on this coating, just like I did with the C-Quartz UK 3.0, the Blackfire Pro, and the C-Quartz TiO2 coatings. But you guys can see here with the air blower, it's just easily just blows the water right off the surface of this coating. It's crazy hydrophobic. You're just going to have a low sliding angle. The water's just going to jet right off with this type of blower. It's going to be easier if I had 2 hands on the blower. So I've got 1 hand on the camera, 1 hand on the blower there, so I can't get as effectively inside of the jams and up in the license plate area. But 2 hands on there would just absolutely almost completely dry this entire section down without having to pull the microfiber drying towel out. I love it. That's why I like these crazy hydrophobic coatings. And one of the things that I'm going to try and keep an eye out for with this coating is its ability to possibly resist water spotting and hard water etching. And so I'm going to try and run a couple different tests with the test panel to see if I can observe that claim, and then I'll keep an eye on the rear section of the paint here. One of the things with the Blackfire Pro Ceramic coating, that's what I had on the paint before knocking that down and applying the graphene matrix here, the Blackfire coating got absolutely hammered by hard water etching from our sprinkler system. And so that's one of the reasons why I topped it relatively early on, within a couple of months of that being on the paint, with different sorts of toppers to try and cut through some of that contamination. But so far, so good, guys. I'm loving what I'm seeing in the short term. Again, this is early on, but this has been an absolutely phenomenal coating to work with, and I'm super impressed with its short-term hydrophobic performance. So now I can see how it's performing when it's at its absolute maximum performance, when it's fresh, and now I can keep an eye out to see how it degrades over time. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to the channel if you're interested in getting durability updates for this coating. Consider subscribing if you're not already. Leave me your feedback in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys all in the next video.